Hi, it's James here at the Sprinkle Donut Forge in Moscow, Texas, and not gonna lie to you, I had 4 or 5 projects on my mind, and this is one that's been kind of teasing my brain for a while. I've got this old 1935 Powercraft scroll saw, and I've used it a lot for wood, and that's what it's intended for, is wood. The only thing preventing it, in my mind, from cutting steel would be the blade. And finding a blade to fit the saw for cutting metals is difficult at the very least, impossible at the very worst. And I've had to forge my own parts for the internals of this thing because you just can't get things to fit it anymore. You have to make them. So, come up with an idea, and I discussed this before with a friend of mine. This is a scroll saw blade. Just a thin metal piece with teeth on it. I hate these blades, by the way, that have the teeth facing 2 directions. Makes your stuff jump everywhere, but that's besides the point. This is an 18-tooth, thick metal cutting hacksaw blade. And I use these a lot in my shop, in my hacksaws, for obvious reasons. What my idea is to capture the length and maybe make it a little bit broader, and take a Dremel with a fiber cutoff wheel, a reinforced wheel, and cut a piece of this hacksaw blade off and fit it into this scroll saw, and then take a piece of metal to it and see what happens. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work. Just got to keep safety in mind when you're doing things like this and protect yourself in all the obvious ways. But I'm going to mark this thing out, and I'm going to get it cut, and we'll strap it in here and see what happens. I'm going to take it to a railroad spike. I'm going to get brave. I'm going to try to cut the end off of one and see what happens. Alright, see you in a few minutes. Okay, there's what fits the thing, and here's my version of a retrofit. I've taken a little bit of the teeth off on each end to fit inside the area where these little tabs go. And I'm going to strap it in here, and we're going to do us a cutting test real quick and see if this is a viable alternative for cutting steel for some purposes. Of course, you'll always want to try to get the proper tool, but we're just going to see if this is going to work. Alright, see you in a minute. Alright, let's see what happens. I'm going to turn it on. Got a piece of steel from a railroad spike. Boy, that thing's all over the place. Well, I give it a 0 out of a possible 3 for accuracy. I give it a 1 out of a possible 10 for feasibility. And I give it absolutely no purpose in my shop. So, if you're thinking about putting a metal blade on something like this, make sure you use something that's not as barbaric as this and get something designed for it. This is not a good idea. Well, it's a good concept, but it's not a good idea. So, now you've seen me do it, maybe you won't waste your time trying to do it. But it was interesting. Now, just for shits and giggles, let's put a piece of wood through it with this metal blade on it. Wood shim here. Oh yeah. 10 out of 10 for a wood cutting scroll saw. I'll tell you what though, this seems like a real nice blade for doing that. I may use this blade on this setup to cut some knife scales out, and because that's kind of hard on the thinner blades that I've got. It's got enough beef to do it. So anyway, that's what I got. Till next time, bye.